begin the service now. If you have a cell phone, please take a moment to turn it off.
Okay, everybody's here. Okay, I was asked to speak in English, so I'll speak in English. Okay. You know what's funny? I mean, at the funeral, nothing is funny, but what's funny is that it just occurred to me that this weekly Torah portion, right, talks about Sarah, this, our mother, Sarah, who died. And she lived 127 years, but it's not much different than Garik's mother, Sarah, who lived 101 years, which is, by our standards, is as rare as probably then. So it's amazing that today we're talking about her passing, and centuries before, Abraham, her husband, was standing somewhere there, but at the same time maybe, and was talking about the death of his wife, whose name was also Sarah. I also was told that really her name was Sonia, but Garik didn't give out her real name, and he said Sarah. As Alex told me that it's impossible that somebody was called Sarah in the former Soviet Union and survived. But nevertheless, we're talking about Garik's mother. Sarah or Sonia is the same person. And sometimes, even if you don't know the person, but you know the family, you know children, you know grandchildren, you can make some idea about the mother, about the grandmother, because very often the influence is still, it still continues in certain values. When parents instill in our children, grandchildren, you can see. And even though I didn't know her, but I know Garik, I know Vika for many years, Erika and Jessica, Michael. And I was thinking, if I only mentioned this part of family, without Faina's final family, it's sort of like unfair, but I coming here, I thought, but I don't know anybody from that family, so what shall I? But now when I met Ina, I can say now I know the both families, because we know Ina also for many years, and therefore now it's equal. I can say that knowing from Garik and Faina, from both families, you can say and feel many good things, many good things about Sarah or Sonia. And now, looking back, heroes, there's a different type of heroes in general. Like some heroes are really, people make some, jump from, from a tower, from airplane, save somebody's lives in a fire, in a house. These are heroes, but there are many other, like more silent heroes who just do the right thing every single day. And this is not easier, and it's not my words, because I'll tell you something from the Torah, that last week, when God spoke to Abraham, he said the famous phrase, Lech Lecha, means go for yourself, go for your own good. And he says, leave your house. What does it mean? Go where? So he introduces to him this new idea that in order to achieve something, you have to leave your house, influence of your house, influence of your family, influence of your country. And you have to go, he says, to the future land of Israel, and that's when you will build a nation. That's a first. But what's interesting that later, next week, God also talks to Abraham, and also with the same phrase, Lech Lecha, means go for yourself, go to yourself, whatever you go, but he has a completely different message. He says, go up to the mountain and take your only son and bring it as a sacrifice. Okay? Completely two different things, but the commentaries say, but the way God talked to him in the same way, he said Lech Lecha in the beginning, Lech Lecha here. He says, Avram, go first time, leave your family and go to a new land. But here he also says go. So somehow these two goes somehow have to be similar. And the rabbis ask, both of them were challenges. But which challenge was bigger? Which challenge was harder? So again, and these are two types of heroes. On one hand, the second challenge, to bring your only son sacrifice, it's like impossible challenge. But somehow it's comparable because it refers with the same language. So rabbis say it has to be somehow comparable. So therefore, the first challenge, it wasn't such a heroic thing. You leave your family. It's a struggle of every day, how you leave your family. You don't take airplane those days. It's step by step. It's mentally more. It's a challenge which is, if you take one of them of one day, it's not so big. But every day, that's what makes it hard. And these are two challenges that are very comparable. And that's what I'm saying, that there are two types of heroes. Some heroes that do one time, a lifetime great event, and everybody remembers them. But there are many heroes who do a simple thing, a right thing every single day. And that's what type of hero what Garrick's mother was. He did the right thing in the circumstances where there was a war, after the war, where there was a challenge, when Garrick almost was taken to the Russian army. No Jewish family wants their son to fight for the Russian army. Israeli army is a different story. And she did everything. She did everything to save him, to save the family. So when it came to a challenge, she was a quite regular, normal woman, but when it came to a challenge where she was challenged as a mother, as a Jewish mother, she was very strong. She was very strong, and nothing, she would stop before nothing. And now, looking back, we see the results. All of you are born here, or live because of her, and it's a great thing. And now we can say thank you. She was a great woman, and that everyday challenges she took with strength. And maybe that's why God gave her so many years, because it's really, she was needed. We believe that, a person is born when the time is right, and person dies when time is right. Not second before, not second after. And when it happens, we believe that it must be the time was right, which means before it wasn't right, which means before we needed her. We would not be the same people. But now when she leaves, we can say, okay, so we're strong enough. We have so many examples of her life, of her, what she did, what she said, that now we can stand on our own feet and be examples to our generation that come after us. And she fulfilled her life. She fulfilled every single day. She did the right thing. Got up in the morning and did what a mother, what a wife, grandmother is supposed to be. And I just want, on behalf of everybody, to say a big thank you. Thank you to Garrick's mother. And at this point, I would like to invite Ina maybe to say a few words. I think they told me you're speaking. Gary said no. Here, he said you're planning. Just say just from your heart.
From my heart. My heart and my tears. Well, so we're here to celebrate the life of my grandmother, mother, and a great-grandmother for my 4 children. She was Sarah, and then somewhere along the line, she was not well, and my mother added the name Chaya. So she was actually Sarra Chaya. And when I told my daughter, who's actually in seminary in Israel right now, that she had passed, the first thing she writes back to me, how interesting and appropriate that she died again with the Torah portion of Chaye Sarah, which is the life of Sarah and the actual burial of her. So that connection was quite evident. We thought of a few anecdotes yesterday, how strong, how loving, how caring she was to her family. She loved her children. She loved her grandchildren. She loved her great-grandchildren. And she will so be missed. I had a chance to come in October for a day, for a couple hours. I would visit from Toronto. And I'm so grateful that I had the last opportunity to at least see her. And she was physically not well, but she was mentally with it, which is unbelievable. And I was so grateful that I had the opportunity to at least see her one last time before this happened. And I spoke to her on Thursday when she was still cognizant. She wanted to light Shabbos candles. She wasn't sure if it was Thursday or Friday, so she had to double check. And that was still on her mind, to light Shabbos candles, even though she came from Russia. There was nothing that she knew, but through my mother, through me, through the Jewish community. She wanted to be closer. And she was a very, very, very strong woman, just like the matriarch Sarah was. And I think she left the children, she's, the legacy, and I hope we're going to be able to carry that on. And may her neshama have an aliyah, and she be a blessed memory to all.
Please.
Verbally challenged. I just want to say, as a daughter-in-law, we didn't start, we met when I was 17. We didn't start in a great, because she thought that her son was literally God's gift to the world. And she thought that I wasn't good enough. He could do better. And which was okay because my parents thought the opposite, that I was too good. But once we got married and the kids came along, she was the most loving, the most giving, the most proud grandma. She just loved kids. She loved grandkids, and it just made her just happy to be together. And while she was still in the good old days when my parents were alive, the kids were little, and they would all come, for whatever Saturday or some birthday or whatever. I know my dad was always looking forward to her cooking. She used to make the best pyrashki. And my dad always used to say, "Is Sonia coming? Because I want my pyrashki." And she would just, and I think the people in her generation, they suffered so much during the war and like being cold and hungry, that the way she showed her love was with the food. And we were just talking how much she used to cook and how much she used to love making food and bringing food and baking, and just that was her language of love. And she was just I'm very grateful to her. First of all, that she gave me such a good husband, that she raised such a good man in all respects. And I'm just grateful for her life that I was part of it. So, sorry, I wasn't planning on this.
And what you mentioned, what Vika mentioned about cooking, her cooking was not just only for a family, it's beyond the family. She came here to America and she worked for many, many years in a Northwestern cafeteria, and everybody knew her. She was, she made Russian food for those American students. So, yeah, right. So it was like you say, it was a character trait that just was for everybody. Right? That's how she was. And for many people, we have different types of memories. We have memory like visual memory, verbal memory, but taste also is a memory. And I'm sure like many times probably when you will eat or taste something like what she did, it's like it'll bring. And that's why we always say, may her memory be a blessing, which means anytime you remember her, it's something good, something blessed. May her memory be always associated with something good, something blessed. And I'll say a final prayer. I would ask everybody to rise and in the end answer, Amen. El male rachamim shoichen bamrovomim. Hamtze menucha nechona al kanfei ashchina. B'malois gedoshim v'torim ki zohar rakia mazhirim. Es nishma Sarra bas Feivish shelcha le'lama. Bavur shemishpochta titen litzedoka bat askoras nishmasa. בגן עדן תהיה מנוחסה. לכן בעל הרחמים יסתיריה בססר כנפיו לעולמים. ויצרור בצרור החיים אס נשמסה, אדוני הוא נחלסה. וסנוח בשלום על משכבה, ונאמר אמן. Amen. Please take your seats.
And friends, this concludes the services here at the chapel. The interment and burial will continue at Memorial Park Cemetery in Skokie. For those of you traveling with us to the cemetery and the funeral procession, please make sure that your bright headlights and your four-way hazard flashers are on. Please be sure to obtain an orange funeral safety sticker for your windshield, and we will be providing cars in the procession with a magnetic orange flag to be placed on top. Please travel as close as safety permits to the car in front of you to avoid any gaps in our procession. Following the interment, the family will be together at Zhivago's for a luncheon, and everyone is welcome to join them after the conclusion of the burial. Thank you. At this time, I would ask everyone to please rise and stand in place as we escort the casket, the rabbi, from the